In recent days, an incident has caused a stir on Chinese social media, originating from an in-depth report by Chinese media outlet The Beijing News published on July the 2nd. The report followed an investigation that uncovered oil tankers, which had just unloaded coal-based oil being used to transport edible oil without cleaning the tanks. The edible oil companies involved are two major state-owned enterprises, China Grain Reserves Corporation and Hopeful Grain and Oil Group. These companies use tankers to transport both food-grade liquids such as syrup and soybean oil, as well as chemical products like coal-based oil. Many tankers do not undergo cleaning between transporting different products, and the edible oil producers fail to inspect the cleanliness of the tank, leading to contamination of the edible oil.
哎呀，我的天哪！
Oh my god. No wonder I have been experiencing a gasoline taste every time I cook with this oil for the past 2 years and couldn't figure out the reason. Now I finally understand why. According to a report by Radio Free Asia on July 11th, Chinese online media outlet Jupai News published interviews with several tanker truck drivers on July the 10th. A 50-year-old tanker driver from Liaoning using the pseudonym Potato Brother stated that many oil tankers never undergo tank steaming, which involves using steam to clean chemical storage tanks. This is because the wastewater treatment cost is very high. Additionally, the distance between the cleaning facilities and the loading points can be several hundred kilometers. Traveling with an empty tank incurs significant costs for tolls, fuels, and cleaning, leaving little profit. His monthly income is about 10,000 yuan, which is approximately 1,400 USD. He earns around 1,000 yuan per trip, but tank cleaning costs about 800 yuan. Therefore, tankers are rarely cleaned. This practice is an open secret within the tanker transport industry.
一台油罐车先这个道上跑。
An oil tanker runs on the road every day, and everyone wonders how much money it can actually make. I did some calculations to see how much can be earned on this trip. Let me share the details. This job involves a round trip for cargo. The price for delivering the good is 2,900 yuan, while the return trip to pick up more cargo is 4,355. Totaling 7,255 yuan, or about $1,000 USD. But let me break down the expenses for you. Diesels for the truck is about $420, highway tolls $260, logistic fees $40, road congestion charge during busy hours are $15, driver's labor cost is $65. I didn't hire a female driver because it would cost more, plus food and lodging expenses are about $30. So the total expenses are about $830. After deducting these expenses from the earnings of the $1,000, that leaves me with only $170. But this is for 3 days of work, and it assumes there are no unexpected situations, such as fines. Over these 3 days, I would earn about $170. This is with me driving the truck myself. If I were to hire a driver for $50 a day, totaling $150 for 3 days, I would only be left with $20. This reflects the current state of the trucking industry. In fact, the chaotic practice of using oil tankers for mixed purpose has been occurring for over 20 years. In 2005, Nanguo Zhaobao reported on the issue of difficulties in cleaning tankers leading to cross-contamination, with tankers transporting dangerous chemicals and then food. In 2015, Hunan TV's Urban Channel exposed the scandal of toxic chemical transport vehicles illegally carrying edible oil. This is just the tip of the iceberg concerning food safety. More serious issues include restaurants using recycled cooking oil, commonly known as the gutter oil, for food preparation. Many of these problems remained unresolved by both the Chinese government and local authorities. Former CCTV anchor Zhao Pu recently spoke out on social media, revealing some insider information about the oil tanker industry. He believes that ordinary citizens cannot escape the issue of food safety related to this situation. As long as you live here, you cannot escape the serious safety hazard, which has existed for nearly 20 years. Yesterday, we discussed the issue of mixed-loaded tanker trucks, and I saw a comment where someone revealed that back in 2005, the Southern Country Daily had already reported on the problem of tankers transporting dangerous chemicals and then carrying food. There are pictures to prove it. It has been almost 20 years since 2005, so why does the chaos of mixed-load tankers still persist? If the mixed-use tanker trucks is an open secret in the transportation industry, it is frightening. Even with nearly 20 years of public oversight, the issue remains unresolved. Doesn't that seem even more alarming? We need to consider what exactly is lacking here. Who should be held accountable? This requires an answer. Additionally, I see everyone discussing which unit or brand the involved tanker trucks belong to, trying to avoid responsibilities. But to be honest with you, there is no escaping this issue. As long as you live here, you cannot avoid it. Why do I say this? First, let's clarify the production process of edible oil. I don't know if everyone is aware, but the main raw material for our edible oil is soybean, and a lot of it's imported. Factories typically build near ports for convenience, allowing them to transport their products to various locations. These oil are usually distributed through two main channels. One is retail, where we can buy bulk oil online or in supermarkets. Some are branded under their own names, while others are sold to different manufacturers, who then label them with their own brand. The other channel is wholesale, supplying food manufacturers that produce items like bread, cookies, instant noodles, hot sauce, potato chips, and various pre-packaged meals. Additionally, it includes cafeterias in school and companies. Anywhere that uses oil is likely to source it in bulk from the primary factories due to the larger quantities involved. So, in which situation are tanker trucks used for transportation? The answer is clear. It is hard to distinguish and avoid. Therefore, strict investigation and severe punishment are essential. There should be no tolerance for this. Some lawyers have stated that such issues can lead to legal accountability for companies, which includes not only criminal and administrative responsibilities but also civil liabilities for damages. I completely support this. If necessary, companies should face bankruptcy consequences for their actions. Food safety is never a trivial matter. On the surface, the mixed use of tanker trucks seem to reveal a problem in a specific area. But in reality, it reflects a failure in internal management within the company and a breakdown of regulatory mechanism. This isn't just a temporary failure, it has been a long-term issue. After this incident was exposed by the media, it triggered panic among the public in various regions. People rushed to buy self-operated oils and imported oils. On July 10th, several videos posted by netizens in Henan showed long lines of customers at the entrance of Pangdonglai supermarket, eager to purchase this brand of edible oil. Pangdonglai is a company in Henan, China that claims to produce oil directly from its factory. However, some netizens commented, questioning Pangdonglai also sources oil from refineries and employs the same type of tanker trucks. It's unfortunate for the common people who can't find a good bottle of oil anywhere and can only blindly rush to grab something they feel is slightly better. Others added, is this really smart? Self-operated brands are just outsourcing productions and labeling as their own. Let's take a look at the oils currently available at Pangdonglai supermarket. First, there is Luhua brand, which is from Pangdonglai. The peanut oil from Pangdonglai is already out of stock, and now only sunflower oil is available. Oh my goodness, just now the peanut oil has arrived at Pangdonglai's Times Square, and I managed to get some just in time. Are these peanut oils new arrivals or just stock? They are new arrivals. Great. Right now, several people are waiting here for Pangdonglai's peanut oil. Is there any edible oil still available? Yes, but not much left. The peanut oil is sold out, and there isn't much sunflower oil remaining either. It is likely that everything will sell out this afternoon, as there are many people buying oil right now. It might be out of stock for about a week. Additionally, due to the concern about safety of cooking oil, some people are choosing to buy home oil presses to make peanut oil themselves, or even switching to lard in the future. On July 13th, the topic oil press sale increased fourfold overnight, trended on mainland social media platforms. According to the Shandong Business Daily, relevant data showed that from July 5th to July 12th, the search volume for oil presses increased by 22 times, and sales grew by 4 times compared to the previous period.
这个食用油啊，明天开始我就先不吃了啊。
Starting tomorrow, I will stop using this cooking oil and switch to lard, as lard is the healthier option. I just consulted the lady who gave me a haircut, and she taught me how to render lard. She is particularly skilled at it and advised me to buy some pig fat from the farmer's market, especially asking for banyo, which is block fat. Once I bring it back, I must use low heat and render it slowly.
火一定不要大，要小火慢慢熬。
The oil tanker mixing incident has also reminded the public of shocking food safety scandal that erupted in 2008 when China's Sanlu milk powder was found to contain a large amount of melamine. This was done to ensure that the protein content in the milk powder met standards during testings. As a result, nearly 300,000 infants and young children were diagnosed with kidney stones and other illnesses after consuming Sanlu products. Many parents reported the milk powder manufacturers, but ultimately their complaints seemed to vanish without a trace, and the incident was left unresolved. On July 9th, Associate Professor Feng Chongying from the University of Technology Sydney stated in an interview with the Epoch Times that the oil tanker incident highlights the lack of basic respect for life by Chinese government, which is the country most plagued by toxic food products. From another perspective, the Chinese government is extremely corrupt. Despite its constant anti-corruption rhetoric, money can bypass all food inspection processes. Former NetEase News Japan chief editor Wen Ge also stated that the incident is not just about the oil tanker. It reflects a decline in human morality and a fundamental issue with values.
你现在看到的是日本
What you are seeing now is a tanker transporting plant oil in Japan. In the past couple of days, many netizens have asked me to show how cooking oil is transported in Japan and whether it gets mixed with petroleum. To be honest, having lived in Japan for over 10 years, one issue I have never considered is food safety. In Japan, anything that is sold in supermarkets, malls, or convenience stores is guaranteed to be safe. In Japan, there is a consensus and something taken for granted. So when netizens raised these questions, I didn't have answer and could only look them up online. I first checked Japan's Food Sanitation Act, which is quite lengthy, but I found that in the general provision of the first chapter, it clearly defines the responsibilities of the operators, not the drivers. Food sold in Japan must maintain cleanliness and hygiene throughout the process of collection, production, processing, usage, cooking, storage, display, and transportation. I believe this requirement is sufficient. I looked into tankers in Japan, and based on their purpose, they can be divided into three main categories. The first category is high-pressure gas tankers, which primarily transport liquefied natural gas. The second category is hazardous material tankers, which mainly carry substances like petroleum and dangerous chemicals. The third category is non-hazardous tankers, which transport products such as milk, beverage, mineral water, and vegetable oil. Furthermore, in general, food transport tankers in Japan are easily recognizable because their surfaces are not allowed to have any coatings, giving them a very shiny mirror-like appearance. Additionally, for tanker drivers in Japan, it's not enough to just obtain a specialized license. They must also acquire the appropriate qualification and permits based on the cargo they are transporting. In other words, in Japan, having a driver's license does not automatically allow you to drive a tanker, nor can you transport whatever you want. Each vehicle is designated for specific use. That being said, are Japan's food safety laws and regulations unique to the country? Definitely not. Are those advanced tankers only affordable for the Japanese? That's even less likely. So if one day the cooking oil we rely on for our daily meals is contaminated with petroleum during transportation, is it a problem with the laws? Is it an issue with the tankers? I believe the answer is neither. The issue lies in people's values. Specifically, it comes down to whether you prioritize profit over human life. If profit is placed first, then no matter how strict the regulations are, some will still take risks. However, if human life is the priority, even in the absence of external supervision, individuals will consciously adhere to the standards. Let me give you an example. At traffic light intersection in Japan, you won't see any cameras. Moreover, some things are just common sense. For instance, you shouldn't use a spit cup to serve food to customers. Is this something that needs to be defined by law? This is why law represents the minimum moral requirements, while higher standards come from societal values and each individual's conscience. In the face of ongoing fallout from the incident, the Chinese public feels not only angry but also quite disheartened. Many have become numb due to hearing about similar incidents repeatedly, as the government tend to protect state-owned enterprises, ultimately allowing these events to fade away without resolution. Many people also searching on social media for videos comparing how countries like the United States and Japan regulate food safety in relation to the oil tanker incident. They admire how New Zealand companies maintain clean milk tankers and their responsible attitude towards every consumer.